If you're new to my channel, my name is Sophie. I like to talk about books and some other stuff. So, today we're going to be talking about Percy Jackson, the first book, The Lightning Thief. Before we begin, a little bit of background on two different things. Firstly, me. I had started reading Percy Jackson when I was really young, and I read the first book, and I was like the first 3 chapters, and I was like, nope, I'm done, I don't like it, goodbye, and I never touched it again, and I basically vowed to never read it again. Obviously I was wrong, because here I am talking about it. So Percy Jackson is about the Greek gods, or the Roman gods, however you see them. They're both the same exact thing. But anyway, so the Greek gods are like Zeus, Hera, Athena, Apollo, Hermes, Hades, Persephone, Demeter, Poseidon, and there's a bunch of others that I won't go into, like Aphrodite and Eros, and of course I start saying their names. Gosh. And so, yeah, those are some of the Greek gods, and so Percy Jackson is a little bit about that. So, it's about a boy named Percy Jackson, obviously. Basic summary, it's about a kid named Percy Jackson, and he finds out that he's a half-blood and goes to half-blood, and then basically has to save the world. That's a basic summary. I don't really want to give too much away. I mean, I made a Midnight Sun video, and I don't think I gave too much away. But everybody's read Twilight. And a lot of them have read Percy Jackson, so I guess it'll be too much information. So, let's just go through the characters. Percy Jackson. He's, I believe, a 6th grader, 12 years old, and he's a half-blood. His father is Poseidon, and his mother is a human. Sally Jackson is his mother's name. There's Grover, who is a star, so he has the legs of a donkey, basically. And from his waist up, he's a normal human boy. There's Chiron, who is a centaur. From his waist up, he's a normal man, and then from his waist down, he's a white horse. Then there's also Annabeth. Annabeth has like blonde hair and bronze skin, and her mother's Athena and her father is a history professor, and I don't think we find out his name. Those are the main characters, and so basically Percy Jackson is told about what's happening. The Master Bolt, Zeus's symbol of power, has been stolen, and he basically has to go find it and give it back to his uncle before the world is destroyed. So Percy goes on this mission with Grover and Annabeth. So they're on this mission and they meet some new people. They meet Medusa. They meet Eris, the god of war. On this journey, they have to get to LA to go to the underworld because, as far as everyone knows, Hades stole the bolt. But Percy is being framed because everyone thinks his father took the bolt, and everyone thinks that he gave it to Percy. So Percy is going to the underworld to fetch this Master Bolt. When he gets to the underworld, he actually realizes that it's not there, which is very perplexing and just confusing because everyone thought it was Hades, because Hades is like the bad god. He's not actually a bad god, but like he's not welcome on Olympus anymore, and he's only allowed to be there on the winter solstice, which was when the bolt was stolen. So then instead, they get back on the beach and they realize that it was Eris who stole the bolt and Hades' helmet of invisibility. When they realize that it was Eris who stole it, and they find it in Percy's backpack, he's basically forced to give it to Hades, but then they save themselves with these little pearls. And then that's when they find out that it was Eris, and they basically fight Percy and Eris. Percy uses the Riptide, which is basically a pen that can turn into a sword when you uncap it, and then when you cap it again, it turns back into a pen. And then they go to New York City to return the bolt. And then they go on Olympus, and they return the bolt to Zeus, and Percy has this talk with his father and stuff. And then they go back to Camp Half-Blood, where Percy is to decide whether he wants to stay there for the entire year or just go during the summer. We find out what he chooses in the next book, The Sea of Monsters, which is currently what I'm reading. I really, really, really love this book. It's so good, and I love Greek mythology, so yeah. I remember I said that I basically vowed to never pick it up again, and I had talked to my friend about that because she was like recommending Percy Jackson to me because I just finished a really good series that we both really like. And she was like, you need a Percy Jackson. And I was like, yeah, but I read it when I was younger and I didn't really like it. And she finally pushed me past my breaking point, and I was just like, fine, I'll read Percy Jackson. So I did. I loved the first book. The first book is so good. And I'm already on the second, which is also really good so far. So I would definitely recommend this book to someone who likes Greek mythology. It may not be all that accurate. It may be a little different than when you think. It was different than when I thought. But it was a good book overall, and it's also a little bit easier to understand if you know Greek mythology. But it's good either way. If you like, let's say, historical fiction, I'm going to say it's a little bit like historical fiction because it's sort of about the gods and the history of Greece. So it's a little bit like historical fiction, but not exactly. It's definitely a fantasy, but not like the sort of fantasy like magic and stuff like that. It's not your basic fantasy. It's a little bit more has to do with what people used to believe in, like what ancient Greece used to believe in. So it's not really like your average fantasy. Like, I'm going to say it's a little bit like Harry Potter in a way, but not in the way you're thinking. Okay, a little bit in the way you're thinking. It's about a guy who basically has to save the world. That's basically what Harry Potter does. Fun fact, I've only read the first through the third and read the beginning of the fourth. Don't like Harry Potter. It's not my thing. Too repetitive. I just couldn't do it anymore. So yeah, I still have the books, and we need to find someone to give them to because no one's really going to read them. Anyway, continuing on, I would definitely recommend this book to anyone who likes Greek mythology or to anyone who likes Harry Potter. If you like Harry Potter, you'll probably like this book. I hate Harry Potter, love this book. Also, one more thing. As some of you know, most of you who are subscribed, I left fandom for a while. I'm going to be gone until the 16th, the 17th, maybe the 18th or the 19th. I don't know. I may be gone for a little longer. Just been really busy with school and stuff. So it depends. I'll probably be back next week, though, or on the 18th or the 19th. Well, I miss you guys on fandom. I miss going on there and seeing all the fun comments that you give and all the fun new posts. And the first thing I'll do when I get back on is post a Would You Rather poll saying that I'm back and would have a Would You Rather question. Daisy, if you're watching this, you are my best friend on fandom, and that title still stands, and I really miss you. Thanks so much for watching, and I would love if you could give this video a big thumbs up, and I would definitely appreciate it if you would subscribe. My subscribers are growing, and I'm super excited because I love talking about this topic, and I love it when people like listening about it. So yeah, see you next time.